No, you're okay. That's good. We need to show our personalities, so we got this. Okay, so welcome everybody. Today is the premiere of the first true crime podcast. It's called A Killer Within, a true crime podcast. And today we're going to have a very special guest of mine. She's like one of my best friends, and I can honestly say, like, we're true crime, like, crazy fanatics. Like, oh, Lisa, did you know that I found out? I know I'm way behind, but there are actually true crime conventions.
What? I
Yes.
had no idea.
Yes, and last year it was in Chicago, and this year they're like having some type of true crime cruise.
What?
Yes, we're behind, so we can't go this year, but that doesn't mean we can't go
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, we can just plan ahead.
But today, Lisa is going to be my special guest, and I am excited to have her. There is no one that I would much rather have than you.
Oh, that means so much. Lisa is happy to be here.
Well, I'm glad Lisa's happy to be here because it was a lot of work to get you here. I moved all the way 2,300 miles away from her, so hopefully one day we'll have her here in person. But I got a very special surprise for you. The first topic that we're going to talk about today, it really just, like, as I was creating this podcast, like, I didn't know what I wanted my first episode to be about, but weirdly, I seen something on Hulu and it just grabbed my attention and I watched it and it just blew my mind. It's really crazy and I'm ecstatic to share this with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, will you spill the beans? What is it?
Okay, well, it is the stabbing of Brooke Preston.
Oh, stabbing. Okay.
Yes, and what is different about this one is the situational circumstances of how it happened and why. And the verdict was so hard to come by because the scenarios and the situations in it was crazy. So March 25th of 2017, this is when this murder happened. And what was crazy about it is the killer, like the murderer, was saying he was sleepwalking while he did it.
What?
Yes, and that he has no recollection whatsoever of doing it. The only thing he can remember is waking up, standing over her body with blood all over him and her, and the hunting knife in his hand.
Oh no. How do you murder somebody, have their blood covered in you and not know what happened?
Well, see, that's the thing is when you're sleepwalking, it's more actual body like memorization. You're really not like you don't even know who is who, what you're doing. And there's this thing, it's called parasomnia. And what that is when you're traumatized, it's like sleepwalking and you're acting based on the trauma that you've developed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like it blew my mind. And this happened in West Palm Beach, Florida. And the crazy thing about this is a year or two before the actual stabbing of Brooke Preston, all of her sister, her, and her best friend Randy, they all moved to West Palm Beach from their small little country town in Pennsylvania. And Randy is the person who killed her.
What?
Yeah. And it's crazy. And what stuck out to me is, okay, like I get that I don't know much about sleepwalking and I guess killing while you're sleepwalking, but the blood analyst for the police department down here, what made me doubt this situation is like, okay, bro, it's three scenarios. It's A, you just blacked out and you don't remember doing this and you were actually sleepwalking. B, you're lying. Or C, bro, you know you did it and you're lying. So,
Yep.
because the
I think I'm
blood...
gonna have to go with C.
Exactly. So this blood stain analysis said it was the most vicious crime scene of hers that she's ever experienced.
Oh, wow.
Like, how can you commit such a gruesome crime and it be the most vicious crime? You get what I'm saying? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Not only that, Brooke was stabbed 25 times. In her neck, her chest, and her back. So you know this young 21-year-old was like fighting for her life. Like she...
Yeah, like that was a very gruesome killing. If you see
Yeah.
her that many times.
Exactly. And the other thing that blew my mind, I don't know if you have a natural body memorization, but do you like wrapping bodies in quilts and rugs? Is that like a natural body movement that your body memorizes doing?
If it is, then you have some deep-rooted issues.
That's also what he did. Is
Okay,
wrapped
that's
her
kinda
body in a quilt, a life-size, like huge rug. And it's said psychologically, when you know someone and you commit their murder, that you do cover them up, like where you don't see them after the murder. It's like a... Yeah. So, but then again, he was a small guy. She was a small girl. That rug helped her drag her body around because she did not end up in the same place that the attack started in. There was blood splattered everywhere. She was gurgitating blood through her nose and her mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it wasn't just, oh my God, I'm accidentally stabbing you and I don't remember. This was an actual murder.
Yeah.
Okay, so the blood analysis, okay, Hunter, Lisa, I want you to listen to this and I want you to play this out in your head as we talk, okay?
Okay.
Okay, it began at the end of the hall, then went down the hall to the living room by the fireplace. Some activity happened by the fireplace, but not much. She was dragged back in the hallway, alive in the final position because she was coughing up blood from her nose and her mouth. So there was splatters in that area, let her know that, hey, she died in this specific spot.
Yeah.
That is a gruesome murder. Like, so do you believe, as of now, before I give you the rest of the information, do you believe that he was sleepwalking or based on the information that I gave you, do you think this was a premeditated or a, like, in the moment situation?
I think it was like an in the moment situation.
Yes. Okay. So okay, now I'm going to tell you what made me start thinking, okay, I'm going to tell you the whole like scenario now. So as I stated before, Brooke, her sister, and Randy, they were all best friends. Like they've been friends for over 6 years and they grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania. And after Randy's father died, he got this inheritance. And And Brooke and Jordan and him have been talking about moving to Florida, but it was like me and you, like, hey Hunter, let's move to like Oregon.
Yeah.
But after a while, they were like, we can actually do this. So they packed up and they moved to West Palm Beach, Florida.
It was just them two that moved, right?
Well, it was Brooke, Jordan, and Randy.
Okay.
So Randy does have a history. His sister Amanda and his mother has told histories about Randy sleepwalking. So he does have a history of sleepwalking. Like, his sister told instance about how he was sleepwalking and he would start scratching on windows. He even rode the bike home sleepwalking because his mom worked at the bar. So he was always going back and forth. Now, what kind of like struck my mind is Randy's father actually murdered his girlfriend.
What?
Yes, his dad shot his girlfriend in the head and then later killed himself.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that makes me think, okay, is there some psychological trauma that developed? And you get what and not only that, Randy was made to clean up the crime scene of his dad and his girlfriend.
So that makes you think there's like some trauma.
Yeah.
Some trauma from the past.
Yes. And
led to what happened.
Exactly. So now here they are. Like, they're in Florida. They're having fun, but Randy's also struggling with finances. He started doing drugs. He became an alcoholic. The 10 grand that he got in the settlement from his dad dying is slowly like starting to like just stress him the hell out.
Oh yeah.
And now the psychologist, sleep specialist said that lack of sleep, alcohol, stress can induce sleepwalking. Yes.
So there might be a truth to this whole sleepwalking murder thing.
That's what started. I'm like, okay.
And
you know how when you're watching these documentaries, how you can just, like, I don't know, you can sit, like when they have live footage of them in court and you see them, like you can look through people's eyes and kind of like get a sense, hey, if they're evil or they're okay people.
Yeah.
You get what? And I never really, looking in his eyes, I didn't really get aggressive. And everyone, even Brooke's mom, in the interview with the cops, they asked him, does Randy have like a history of violence? And even Brooke's mother and father said, no, he's the most passionate and gentle kid. I would have never thought of him being violent.
Wow.
Yeah, so it makes me like what? And the thing, and the thing is, the cops are boggled because he has no motive. There is no like history of him like falling in love with Brooke. There was no sexual tension. There was no violence. So the cops are like, yo, was he sleepwalking?
Yeah.
So like, so this is going to be the day of, the day before. Okay. Now, remember how I said alcohol does play a part in the sleepwalking?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the day before, Randy and Brooke were severely drinking. They stayed up. They didn't get no sleep a couple days before. They were watching the sunset. They were partying. They were doing drugs. They were just being like young 20-year-old in West Palm Beach, Florida, So, but eventually, Randy started acting really weird, Hunter or Lisa. And like Brooke gets so uncomfortable and texts her friend, and she goes, "Can you please come get me? I'm about to kill Randy." And he was like, "What? Why?" "Just come get me. I can't stay here tonight. He's acting really weird. He was in my closet, butt ass naked."
Oh my gosh.
This was the night before.
So, night before, already acting super strange.
No
Kind
sleep,
of sleepwalking, right?
drugs,
Naked in her closet. Yeah.
stress.
A good mix.
So you start to think, but then
It really makes you
again,
wonder.
why was he naked in the closet?
Yeah, that's really strange.
So was he about to come on to Brooke? Was there was there a secret lust for Brooke? Was he in love with Brooke? Were they like denying their feelings for each other?
Yeah, it really makes you wonder.
Yes, because why randomly be like me and you, we've been friends for over 11 years. Like we'll like I don't think I would ever end up naked in your closet.
Oh my God, no. I'd probably be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly. So, hi, Lisa. Like, how do you even interact with that? Like, hi. Like, how do you do?
Hello.
Why are you naked in my closet?
What are you doing?
Oh, that's where I'm at. Like, how do you acknowledge it? But, but another thing is what kind of like when I found out he was naked in her closet, I found out that he also had fake like toy handcuffs on the end of his bed. And he made the comment like, girls like to be tied up and everything during, I guess, like sex. Like,
Yeah.
okay, and they were fuzzy, so that kind of, resembles, hey girl, let me tell you what, like,
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I mean, if you're into that, cool. But it makes me think, okay, did Brooke turn him down?
Yeah, was there some anger? Did he get denied? And
Yes. So everybody just came to the conclusion that Randy fell for Brooke, and they began to think that he wasn't sleepwalking.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I knew it.
I caught it.
I called it.
Oh my God, I'm so good. I was right. So, and what just like was the oh shit moment. The psychologist and the sleep specialist explained, Hunter, when we're awake and we're walking down the street dark, our bodies can sense when we're in danger.
Yeah.
Okay, that automatic reflex to fight for your life, that is triggered when we're awake. When our senses are going, we can sense danger, we can fight, we know each other's faces, we can hear we know who, when I hear your voice, I automatically know that's Hunter or Lisa, whoever you are for the day. And when you're asleep, all of that turns off. Like, how are you stabbing if you're asleep? Do you have a natural body reflex of stabbing somebody? Your body's forgot about that. So how is your body boom, 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 boom? 25 times. Then drags her.
Yeah, there has to be, especially for 25 times, you've got to have some animosity towards this person.
Exactly, that's what I thought.
Something's going on.
Now, I am going to tell you. He was the one who called 911. He said, someone got murdered. I did it.
he did it in the moment.
Yes, he said he woke up and he knew that he had the blood on him, the weapon in his hand, and he was standing over her body. Then he got his keys, walked to the car, and called 911. Now, when the cops and everything got there, she had defensive wounds and everything. Like, she was fighting for her life, like legit.
Yeah.
So now this is what happened the day of. And I want you to pay attention to this, because this is where everything got, okay, we've really got to think about this. Because, still, they really don't have a motive. They really don't know much about, like, their sex life or if they loved each other. There was just no motive. Yeah. So, you're about to be like, oh.
Oh, gosh. Give it to me.
Okay. So, this was the first case ever in Florida who claims to be sleepwalking as he was murdering. And there's only been known 7 in the entire world. Keep that in mind before I tell you all this as well. So around 7:34 a.m., Randy woke up and texted Brooke, "Hey, I got you a shirt. Okay, I will come back after I finish breakfast." And Brooke also invited Randy to come eat breakfast, but he said no. Okay, what time was that? 7:34 a.m.
Okay.
8:35. There is video surveillance of Brooke that was across the street, like a home, like camera across the street recorded this. At 8:35, Brooke arrived at their house. Got out of the car, video surveillance. "Hi, Brooke, I see you walking in your house," type of situation. At 8:49, so that's 14 minutes later, a neighbor is walking by and claims that he heard screams.
Oh, wow.
8:57, Randy is in his car calling 911. Okay, so the reason I wanted you to explain to you the time frame of everything, when Brooke got in there, they hugged. He gave the shirt he bought. They hugged. Blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. There are 3. Does sleep specialist explained that there are 3 different stages of sleep, and it takes about an hour to 2 hours for you to get into that 3rd stage, which is like a really, really, really deep sleep, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. On verdict results, he was found guilty of 1st-degree murder.
Oh.
But the reasoning was the jury claimed that he only had 22 minutes to go to sleep, and you don't start sleepwalking until you're in that 3rd stage, okay?
Yeah.
And it takes a couple hours, to 1 to 2 hours, maybe more, depending on the person, I guess, to get there, okay? You can't do that in 22 minutes, correct?
No, that just doesn't add up.
Okay. Well, that's what they said. But listen, Dr. Ewing, the sleep specialist psychologist dude, says it's possible he had the dreams that he interacted with Brooke, that he He's saying that he talked to Brooke. They hugged. He gave him his her sweater, his shirt that she bought or whatever. What if he dreamed that? So remember, he texted Brooke at 7:34 a.m.
Yeah.
At 8:57, he's calling the cops. So that is an hour and a half, Hunter. An hour and a half.
Add up.
No, that exactly. So that is enough time for him to get into that deep sleep. That is a possibility that he was sleepwalking. That is a possibility that maybe he was putting them interactions with Brooke together to fill in blanks from the trauma.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, hey, the jury thought, hey, this is not logical. You said that you talked to Brooke. You said that you gave her the shirt. You said that you hugged Brooke. That leaves you 22 minutes to fall asleep. That's not possible. But when Dr. Ewing said, maybe he dreamed he did this. Maybe he didn't really have those inner reactions. So when Brooke came in, it was an automatic murder.
Oh my gosh. Makes sense.
So did Randy really murder Brooke Preston? Or was he sleepwalking?
Man, I don't know. My mind is going in two different directions.
Well, according to the state of Florida, he's guilty.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see until new evidence provides more, I guess. Because there's a part of me that thinks he was sleepwalking because you don't remember when you're sleepwalking. So how do you remember interacting with her?
Yeah.
But yes, that was podcast number 1, the stabbing of Brooke Preston, the stabbing of Brooke Preston. So thank you, Hunter, for being our first guest on this episode 1, season 1. And what do you think about the little story that I just told you? The true crime.
That was great, and I really want to know what happens next.
Okay, well, stay tuned till next week and you will find out more. Thank you.
You bet I will. You're welcome.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.